Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Crimson Circle Connection Center in Louisville, Colorado. This, of course, we're getting ready for the Art of Benching final session, number 11. As you can see, Jeffrey Hoppy's getting ready to channel Adamus. And so, with that, let's get comfortable in our seats, wherever you are, and take that good deep breath of life. Breathe into you, feeling all your energies. Feeling as the human, the master, feeling with the soul of you. Take the good deep breath, opening to this experience. Really giving yourself permission to just open to it. Breathe for you. Breathe and invite in those energies of Adamus. He's here with every breath. He tells us always. So breathe him in as we move forward.
With golden stream, our universe was clothed in light. Pulling at the seams, our once barren world now brims with life. That we may fall in love every time we open up our eyes. I guess space and time takes violent things, anger things, and makes them kind. We are the dust of dust. We are the apple of God's eye. We are infinite as the universe we hold inside. Infinity times infinity. Infinity times infinity times infinity. Infinity times infinity times infinity times infinity. Let there be light, let there be light, let me be right. The dust of dust. We are the apple of God's eye. We are infinite as the universe will hold inside. with golden string. Our universe was brought to life, that we may fall in love every time we open up our eyes.
I am that I am. Adamus of Sovereign Domain. I'll have to admit I'm getting a little bit more used to your earth music. I'm beginning to, maybe I'm getting senile in my old age, but I'm actually starting to like some of the things that you're doing here, and it's not even classical music.
Hey.
Yes,
hey,
dear Linda.
Hey, we've got your coffee and more.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Blow it.
Yeah. As I was saying before, I'm beginning to really enjoy the earth music, but then you started singing. I may have to take that whole statement back. A little off tune. A little off tune. I mean, how about a little practice beforehand, a little rehearsal, some harmonizing, and no, it was the act that counted. It was I appreciated truly the singing of Happy Birthday. Any presents? Well, that's food, obviously, but the presents aren't gifts galore for.
It's the fruit of the rose.
Thank you.
Only for you. Oh, you're so kind.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
never gonna wash my face.
Thank you. And for you, dear Linda. Yes, just for you.
Later.
Yes, the fruit of the rose. I'm starting to like it. You're selecting songs that are a little bit deeper, and I can feel you really get into these things. And so I'm kind of reevaluating my whole thing with classical music. I still love it. I was still an accomplished composer, but I'm starting to tune in. Maybe I'm getting kind of hip now. Or you're picking better music. Thank you for being here, each and every one of you. Thank you from all around the world. We gather once again. We've been doing this for 23 wonderful years. It seems like a long time, doesn't it? 23 years.
It is a long time.
It's actually not a long time. No, maybe in Earth years, you feel it's a long time. And yeah, I know you look at pictures of yourself once in a while back from 23 years ago. It's what a child back then. And you look now and you don't want to look. But 23 years is a flash of time on the other side. And yes, Caldera, there isn't a real Ascended Masters Club, and there certainly is. It's nothing. 23 years. Now, I realize you've been on this whole journey for a long time, but Tobias brought you all together August 21st, 1999, in the now infamous teepee. It hasn't been that long. Look what you've gone through. Feel into that for a moment. What you've gone through, it's been very tough, no doubt. And we're going to take a vote here at one of the upcoming shouts. You had it tough, a lot of suffering, which we're coming to the end of. You were really stuck in the glue of mass consciousness and your families and everything else. But you're also the ones that said, let's do it quickly. Not 3 to 5 lifetimes as Tobias had predicted, but 23 years. That's nothing. We're going to take a vote, though, for the ones coming next, that next group that's already starting to come in. Should we let them have it easier or not? You are cruel people. I heard a rude awakening. This is cruel awakening. Cruel. One thing that you'll have that they never will, hopefully, is the difficulty, but in the depth. You know, it's something that Now that you're wiping the tears from your eyes and your soul is healing, the depth of what you've gone through, the depth of darkness and despair. And you know, it makes a really good story once you're out of it. Once you're out of it. No, it does. You've got great stories that really I can make a very fair statement that no others will ever have quite like yours.
Oh, wow.
The difficulties and the challenges, and they'll honor you and respect you for it. They might giggle a little bit behind the scenes saying, oh, why'd they make it so tough? But nobody else had blazed this trail. Nobody else had gone into these other realities. Nobody else had disconnected from the karma, from the ancestral families, and you did. So they might snicker once in a while and say, well, we're smarter, we're going to have it easier. But you could snicker right back, double snicker, and say, because we blazed that trail for you. That's a very true and honest statement. 23 years, and I sit here with you. Quite proud, actually, quite proud. Sometimes I might get a little stern or a little strict, but all in all, when I go back to the Ascended Masters Club, and we really do talk, I mean, there are other Ascended Masters working with other groups, I'm smug as hell. I mean, I'm really that proud peacock up there, because what you've done is monumental, unheard of. And most of you, not all of you, still in your physical bodies. Most of you still here. I noticed you're sitting in Edith's chair, and she's going to have a word with you about that in just a moment, I'm sure, but most of you still here. So before I go any further, I want to invite in two guests today. Normally I don't have guests. I like you all to myself. But we have two special guests. The first one, of course, is one that's going to be coming into our Merlin event, upcoming Merlin event, and it's Nikolai Tesla.
Oh.
Nikolai is here today, hovering around, has not reincarnated at all. He's got a degree of frustration, which he's going to express at the Dream of the Merlin event. He wanted to come in because he doesn't really hang around with you like I do. He's familiar with Crimson Circle, with Shambro, but he doesn't, he's not real aware of the energies. And I said, you know, before you come and talk to the group, you better get familiar, because this is a different group. And you come in just cold off the street to the upcoming Merlin event, and you might get eaten alive by these people. They are a tough group. Yes, they cuss, they swear, they drink, they smoke, and they're wonderful humans. But they're tough. They're not just going to take anything at face value. They're going to give you crap unless you really understand their energy. So he's here, hanging around today. Was probably back in the food thing right now, getting familiar with you and the energies. The other guest, by the way, according to culture, you all need to take a shot right now. Yeah. The other guest, I'll wait to introduce till later. But let me start by saying this is the last shout of the benching series, last one, 11. The year particularly went by fast. And what a year it was. We're going to be moving on in many, many different ways, moving on to the new series, the Alt series. I'll explain it in a moment, but before we go any further, let's kind of get warmed up here. And ask the question for the audience now, microphone time. So, in just a few words, describe what have the energies been like lately? You know, whether it's global or just not just yours, but the energies of humanity and mass consciousness. In just a few words, what has that been like lately?
Okay, let's see, a volunteer. Okay, there's one.
Got me.
Greetings, Master.
Greetings. Good to be here. The energies, I felt them really. How were they? I personally felt like they were not peaceful, very rough in a way.
Yeah.
I felt them rough.
Yeah.
Also personally, it was like times I was like, geez, what's going on.
In what time frame are you talking about? The last day or the last month?
Last few weeks.
Last few
months,
weeks.
yeah.
Good, good. And rough in what way?
Well, we talk about, people are really going into extremes in different areas. There's
Yeah.
a lot of division.
Yes.
And so the energies are really kind of taxing.
Yeah. Yeah, very taxing right now.
Taxing, yeah.
It's a good word. And what about your dreams?
They were interesting, yeah. Sometimes I have those dreams. I'm like, I have a dream, and I'm like, so now then it's kind of, I'm looking from outside into my dream.
Yes.
And I'm like, so now I want to go do this. But then in my dream, I do something else. I'm like, the fuck, it's my dream. It's like,
Or is it?
is it, right?
Yeah.
But then it's basically also then I just recently realized, wait, it's like, I want to control my dream now. So it's like, just
So
let it
often
be.
in the dreams right now, you're right. You think you want a nice, peaceful dream. You're not getting that at night because everything is acting out on many, many levels, including your dream states. And if there's still any kind of wayward aspects inside, they're acting out. And just when you think you'd like to go that direction in a dream, you're going that direction. And just when you think you cleared everything out, but you're feeling a lot into overall mass consciousness right now.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's unfortunate about dreams is the mind just doesn't understand how to interpret the real energies that go literally beyond the mind. So it comes up with these cheesy imitations, and that's what you think is your dream, but there's so much more happening in them. And that's what we're going to be exploring in our next series in ALT.
Oh, good.
And give you a better understanding. And specifically in Kihak coming up, we're going to be talking about now, in Kihak, you've gone beyond now the mind clamping down. And we're going to do a few things in our next session. Okay. Now you can really go beyond the mind. We're gonna have a little talk with the mind. But it'd be incredible, and it's a little it's freaking scary actually when you start going beyond the mind. So good. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Next, energies. What have they been like lately? What are you feeling? Not necessarily you personally, but what's all around?
For me, it seems like every time you say, what else could happen, what else happens?
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
And it seems like there doesn't seem to be any kind of resolution that I can see on the horizon, and it seems to get more intense all the time. And so I don't see any kind of calming down of any kind of things going on right now. There seems to be more things happening, like
Yeah.
the last little bit.
Well, you're a bummer. Let's pass the mic.
I know.
No, kidding.
You asked me what it felt like. That's what it feels like.
and that's what these sessions are for.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
So-
pass the mic right next to you there. Yes.
No, that's not fair.
Yes, it is.
Okay, here,
Yes.
it's yours.
It's yours, buddy.
It's not
Tried to
fair.
save you.
Yeah, I know it is fair.
Life is not fair.
That's what I said.
Hey, you bought a ticket to this show. Now you gotta dance.
Got to perform.
Yeah. So, what are the energies feeling like?
Well, there seems to be a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
You mentioned, or Jeffrey mentioned, the word freedom earlier.
Right.
And I think that certainly we are becoming more free. There is more freedom, but that means less structure. That means more chaos, more confusion, more change. And so that's what I experience around me.
Mm-hmm.
Inside me, I experience things almost like the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding myself much more peaceful.
And can you differentiate the two? What's out there? What's in here?
Well, I think so. Most of the time, I've made it a very clear intention that I want to be peaceful, regardless of what is around me.
So I just have to ask, because I know other people are feeling the same way. They're coming to some sort of new calm inside. and the battles are done, over with, and they're truly starting to be able to enjoy life. But then it's in this whole circus, this whole conflict that seems to be going on. Why hang around for that?
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think it's on the mind of a lot of people.
I mean, it's easy to be peaceful
Yeah.
when you're sitting beside a lake and the water is flowing and the wind is in, a little breeze in the trees and things. That's easy.
Right.
Can you feel peaceful in the context of a storm?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's, and the typical answer should be, well, I can be out here by myself, peaceful, and kind of not pay a whole lot of attention. I feel some of the other energies coming around, but I don't have to get caught up. But that'd be the normal thing to do. But Chamber's like, no, I want to get right back in there. I want to go right back into the storm of the lion that's taking place, which is okay. But it does get a little tiring after a while. Good, thank you. Thank you for your answer. A couple more. What are the energies like
Did
lately?
anybody else in particular you would like me to volunteer?
No, that's fine. Take your time, I'm going to eat.
Hello.
What are the energies like lately?
Very shaky.
Very shaky. Why?
Outside and struggling a little bit to separate it from the inside.
Yeah. What's going on out there right now?
A lot of uncertainty and feeling a lot of the energies outside of me.
Yeah.
And then it brings a lot of the question, is it me? Is it mine? Or is it, am I being like antenna right now?
Yeah.
So
How do you differentiate what's yours, what's not?
I'm not always very good at it.
Yeah, but you could be.
Yeah,
Tobias said it years ago very simply. What's yours is what you're choosing. Everything else you let go.
That's what I was going. When
But
I tune.
then
yeah.
you jump in and say, yeah, but I really caused that, and I really deserve that, and that's really mine. No, it's not. It is that simple. It is no longer you. Once you say, that's not what I want, it can be with other people, but it's no longer you.
Yeah.
How's life?
The right of-
How's your life right now?
Digging a lot in the right of choosing.
Yeah, good.
So which
good.
is go hand to hand with what you just
Good.
told me.
Yeah, and I hope you know you and I spend a fair amount of time together. As a matter of fact, I'm going to send you a bill for it. But no, we've had some good talks. And like other Shambra, your heart is so big and your commitment so strong. But you go to bed some nights and put a blanket of doubt over yourself, and I scold you for that. You don't
Yeah,
need a
are you?
blanket. Yeah, you don't need a blanket, and the doubt it really doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't even look good on you. So you just, one day you say, fuck doubt. It's another T-shirt.
I like it.
Yeah, because that's, you're never going to overcome doubt. You're never going to beat doubt. And you're never going to suddenly have some grand epiphany where doubt just goes away. You finally say, I'm done with doubt. I'm done with that game. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have so many talents, but that doubt blanket. Yeah. Okay,
Gotta
thank
shake
you.
it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more. How's the world? What's going on? A couple of words for the world.
You can do a couple of words, I dare you.
There's a lot of anxiety out there,
Yeah.
and I see where I'm at the anxiety is like a mirror for me, and I see where I'm at,
Yeah.
and I don't have that anxiety, or very little, a lot less.
Right.
But I'm very sensitive to those energies, so I tend to spend a lot of time alone.
Good. I mean,
Yeah.
good thinking,
And
because you are
And
sensitive.
it's not that I don't like people. It's just
Right.
that I feel better when they're not around. and it's,
That's kind of classic.
I
Yeah.
didn't mean Schambro, by the way.
Yeah, right. Poof, they disappear. No, thank you. And it was a great statement. We'll have to put that up on the wall at the Ascended Masters Club. Anybody disagree with kind of where you see the direction of this going? Anybody saying, gosh, the world's such a beautiful place and kumbaya, kumbaya? Okay. It is a very tough place right now. For a couple reasons we've talked about. It's going very, very fast, faster than ever. Fasten your seatbelts because it's just zooming right now. The changes, the magnitude of what's happening psychically, energetically, what's also happening in terms of research and development and new things coming along. And a lot of people lick their lips, smack their chops, saying, oh, good, a new technology coming, a new type of car, a new type of healing for the body, a new type of this, and it's all coming. It's roaring your way. Most of it yet hasn't come into mass distribution, but it's going to. And you say, that is great. Look at all this new stuff coming. It's actually overwhelming because it's coming so fast. The time it takes to adapt and adjust to a brand new kind of a paradigm-shifting technology is causing the human mental balance to start falling apart. And people going crazy. The ones who weren't crazy starting to feel very unbalanced. And ultimately, I guess if you really distill all this, look at the world right now. Feel into this, that humanity is feeling more unsafe than ever before. The funny thing is, statistically, you could argue that. You could say there's less wars, there's less hunger, there's less this and that. There's better medical care, better education. It doesn't matter, because if people are feeling unsafe right now, that's what you're feeling. And that it brings rise to things like anxiety, fear, desperation, people doing crazy, crazy things. They don't know why they're doing it, and nobody else knows why they're doing it. It's a knee-jerk reaction to feeling pathetically unsafe on the planet right now. Feel it in your own life. You've gone through that, you've experienced it, but you take away safety. Safety is often contained in the human realms in the family nucleus. That's falling apart right now. Safety is felt when you have a good, reliable government system. Government systems will never be great because it's a government, but sometimes just having one that's stable. Where is that right now? I mean, it's not here in the U.S., it's not in Europe for the most part, it's not in other parts of the world. Safety is often found in the consolation of churches and religions. You go to church, you've had a tough week, you sit there and talk about how God loves you, but it's a pervert standing up there in the podium. And it's... Did I say that? Oh, that was Tesla. Yeah. I mean, where is the trust that people once had in the religions? That's falling apart. So the basic fundamental safety nets just aren't there. And what do people start doing? They say, well, I have to become more self-reliant, maybe grow my own foods, maybe own more guns, maybe, barricade the yards so nobody can get in, and pretty soon you have proliferation of security cameras and weapons and people stockpiling. And that adds to this anxiety factor that's out there, and it's huge. And it's not yours. I cannot emphasize that enough. I will later, so I will keep emphasizing. It's not yours. You're feeling it on the planet. You've chosen to stay here, and that's what's happening. It's all over the place. People that never had anxiety before, never had problems sleeping, never drank or took drugs to numb the pain, are now resorting to things like that. They don't know where to turn to. If you were a muggle, which you used to be, what would you be turning to right now? Family? Some, not many. Your job? Used to be you could start a job, a career, and you'd stay in that, stay with the same company most of your life, which I don't recommend, but it used to be very stable, and the company was going to take care of you, and they don't now. What do they turn to right now? Well, they turn to things like video games, because you can lose yourself. You can go into this world where you go and blow up other worlds. I don't understand all that, but you go into that digital world, and they go in there. They go to drinking and drugs, of course. Then they go into depression. And it's almost like they invite themselves into depression, because in depression, you don't really have to face the true energies. You're in depression. You can moan and groan about being depressed, but you really don't have to face what's out there or what's in here. I say all this, and it's not certainly not a pep talk, but it's a reality on the planet right now. And you need to understand that it is not yours, unless you want it to be. You want it to be, I'm not going to try to take it away, but this is what the planet is going through. And oddly enough, it's all very appropriate. At this incredible time of changing, you're going to see it in technology, you're going to see it in physics, you're going to see it in just every part of life changing so quickly. The way children come into this planet, the birthing process itself, and you're going to see all of this, everything change. What were the old stable pillars of life that you could always rely on? Even if everything else was changing, you have these pillars of life that you knew were going to be there. They're going away, and people are desperate. People are desperate. Now, the pep talk portion, this is where you come in. This is why you're here. You know that we've talked about it. There's nothing mysterious about it, and all you got to do is shine your light. Pretty simple stuff. It's very, very important right now to understand the difference of what's yours and what's not. It's very important. And you get all messed up in the brain, and as I said in Kihak, we're going to start doing it. We'll bring it to the Shouds. We're going to go beyond the brain, and it's constant analysis of things. We're just going to go out and do it. But you got to be pretty balanced within yourself to do that. You have to be pretty clear within yourself of what's yours and what's not. And it's as simple. You're the master. If you don't like it, you don't want it, it's not yours, say goodbye. If you want to play around with it, that's fine, but I'll probably end up calling you on the game that you're playing and saying that that's a big game, let go of it. And some of you will, some of you won't. But it's not going to get better anytime soon. You're not going to see suddenly everybody gathering around and passing the peace pipe and the problems of the world resolving themselves, and suddenly there's no hungry people, and you're going to see more of a chasm between those who have it and those who don't. And that's not making a judgment either. The ones, actually, with my background and my feelings about things, the ones who don't, shame on them. Shame on them for not having it. They're using it as an excuse. Poor me, I don't have it. They all have it. They're taking away the money. No, they're not. You're not smart enough to get it for yourself. So I'm going to be hard on the have-nots. I don't feel sympathy for them. You want it, you get it. And then they say, but I don't know how to. And it's like, come here. I'm going to show you a group of people around the world called Shambra. I'm going to show you how they change their lives. They set a path for you. They set examples. They're the standards, and you can change anything you want. Anything you want. And what I love is you're finding that out. You're discovering that. You're also discovering something on a higher higher altitude, that what you thought you wanted before, the human need, is not really that important. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But you've changed, and you're going to see it here in just a moment. You've changed incredibly on what's important in your life. And, maybe before it was money and relationships, whatever, you realize that's really not that important anymore. You're starting to realize that those things are just there. You don't have to strive for them. They're actually really not needs, money. No. Put your put your feelings into something much grander. What's really important to you? Money means it's really nothing. It's just your energy. And having more money, actually, for most people on the planet, is self-destructive. It really is. And I'm making some wonderful statements today. But no, somebody who's in pity and, just they're in this whole kind of a rut of feeling sorry for themselves. You give them more money, what are they going to do? They're just going to have more sorrow. It's almost a physics formula. You give somebody who's in a low consciousness, lacking in self-worth, you give them now some more energy. Are they suddenly going to turn that into, oh, now I'm worthy, now I'm, let all my problems go? No, they'll use that energy, that money, to compound their problems. It's that simple. And I say this because you've learned that. You've gone through it the tough way. You've gone through the hell. And now you realize it's not really necessary. Benching. This has been the Art of Benching series. We're going to go on to alt. It was a good transition in these last shouts, going from one to the other. The fact is, you don't have to do benching, and you found that out. I mean, you really don't have to go and set a time and go find a bench somewhere or a chair or whatever it is, and then shine your light. I would say about 81% of Shaumbra figured out, hey, Adamus, screw the bench. I'm always shining my light. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. Oh. Yes, indeed, you are always shining your light. The benching was not so much about the planet as for you. Because when you sat there, you just stopped for a moment, you got yourself a nice coffee or whatever. You're taking time for yourself. At first you thought, well, I'm doing this for the planet. You were doing it for yourself. You're always shining your light. It's always radiating, and you don't even have to be thinking about it. You don't have to be benching. You could be in the middle of a nice dinner. You could be in the middle of sex, anything like that, and you're still shining your light, especially with a good dinner. So the whole benching series was about you stopping for a moment to really let that light shine onto yourself. It's always been shining onto the planet. Some have challenged me. Actually, many have challenged me. Some Shaumbra have challenged, saying, all right, we started this benching series, shining our light to the world, a year ago. A lot of good that's done, hasn't it? Look where we are now. Maybe we should dim the light, Maybe we should extinguish that light altogether. But actually, it's the real proof. You shine your light, and it's going to get things going. Well, it's going to get people out of their laziness, out of their kind of their limitations, and because when the light suddenly shines, and somebody's been intentionally in the darkness of their life, and the light shines, and it shows all the other potentials, they don't necessarily want to see that. It's calling them on their game. Say, you could choose this, you could choose that, you could do all these other things. They don't like it. So they try to dim the light or pretend it's not there. But the light is actually shaking up a lot of things on this planet that needed to get shaken up. You say, well, yeah, but we've got a war going on. Isn't it, interesting, too, if you look at the Calder stopping me saying, oh, the Russian Shaumbra are going to get upset with you. I don't care. The dates that Putin uses for his friendly occupation of other nations, very statistically aligned with numerology. There's no mistake in that at all. Sorry if I offended you, but go somewhere else then. We're not going to get off on that today. Later, I'll have a talk with you. Okay, I'll make a deal with you. I'm going to do a special session for Russian-speaking Shaumbra only, whether you're from Russia or anywhere else. You throw your toughest questions at me. You whatever you want to ask, we'll have our session just for the Russians. Linda, you're writing this down, of course. No, Linda's running to the other room right now. No, I want to talk about it because you're not free. Not that any others are, but you're not free. You're there for a reason, and some of you just haven't figured that reason out. Why you're in Russia, why you were reincarnated into Russia. Many of you have been there time and time again. I'm a little disturbed with some of you because you forgot why you're really there. You've become very defensive. You're not Russians, and you're not Americans, and you're not Brazilians, and you're not Mexicans. You're beyond all that. And if you're still playing the game of nationality, or even your sexual, your gender, if you're still playing the game of even age, you haven't learned it yet. You haven't figured it out. You are not. You might be living in Russia. You might be a woman. You might be 52 years old, but you're not. You're not. So we'll have a little one-on-one chat. Yeah. You had nothing else to do, huh? You thought next weekend was going to be Kasama. It's not. We got a perfect opening. Just slide in a little channel. Okay, deal. Thank you. Okay, everybody settle down now? Okay. Ooh. Okay, funny, you give them a channel and they all settle down. And they're writing their questions right now. Yeah. So let's continue. Where were we? Oh, benching, art of benching. So it was really for you. Your light is always shining on this planet. The moment that you made the decision to come back here in this lifetime and do what you're doing, whether you were in your darkest days or not, you were still shining a light. And we're going to continue on with that. We're going to go into the alt series, and alt means several different things. It's variable, multiple realities. We're no longer going to be stuck in this. We through Kihak, we're going to blow past the mind, and then we'll help bring all those energies to Shambhala. But we're going to learn what it's like to truly be alt. And it's a little, it sounds like fun, but actually it's pretty disruptive. It shakes up the old systems, but you'll be safe. You will be safe in it. We're going to find out in alt that there are so many realities and so many different ways of playing in the reality. But the big question is, how do you want to play? Joy or suffering? You want to go way out there, or you want to kind of stay small? And staying small, I mean staying within a limited, comfortable reality is fine, but we're going to be going out there. There's no room out there in what we're going to be doing if you're carrying old issues. There's not. So we gotta let those go. And it's not that difficult. It really isn't. Alt is also the original name of Atlantis. Alt. So we're truly going to be, we're not going back to Atlantis, but that whole Atlantean dream and the whole camaraderie that we had is really going to come together in this next series. But again, no room for issues, no room for whining. Now, there will be, and we will have a lot of discussions about there are uncertainties, there are things you may not understand. We'll bring those to discussion, not to processing, but to discussion so that we can let those go. I guess what I'm saying, it's time to put on your master's pants or shirt or bra or whatever it is, because we're going to go there now. We're doing it on the planet. When you're shining your light, it shakes things up. And to me, that's a wonderful testament to what you're doing. Things on the planet are getting shaken up. Now, we don't want to go so far as they blow up. There's a big difference between shaking up and blowing up. But we want to shake things up a little bit. Otherwise, things just keep going the same old way, the same old issues. Nothing ever evolves and changes. So we're going to continue shining the light in alt realities in many different ways and continue shaking up the planet. But for now, if you have problems and issues, if there's things that are weighing heavy on you, get the fuck over them. Where we're going, there's no room for them. And there's no need for them. There's really no need. There's really not. So let's just move on with where we're going to next. Okay, good deep breath with that. Linda, you ready? I'm sorry, am I being a little too aggressive today?
Not any more than usual.
Okay, good. And I want to make it very clear that this next step is going to be a big one. And you just cannot be holding on to issues. It's going to hurt a lot more if you do. It's going to hurt you a lot more. And to a degree, even hold back the group. So let's just get over them. Last shout, we talked about the master's rights. And so many of you wrote in, gave your suggestions and ideas. Most of them were really, really good. And again, I was like that proud papa at the Ascended Masters Club holding up the list and for them to see. There were some that were a little offbeat, different, but for the most part. Now, what I did was I felt into all of them, not just the ones that were submitted in writing, but the ones that you thought about or perhaps posted online but didn't send in. So I took an overall assessment of the master's rights. And this is not a final document. It's a working, work in progress. But I extracted really the top ones and reworded them because the wording, a lot of the wording was kind of coming from the negative, and I wanted to state it in an affirmative way. Things like, I have a right to not be fearful anymore. It's like, okay, but that's still fearful. So how do we put this in a positive? So I did a lot of polishing and distilling on this. And
Polishing what?
Polishing the words. So I did a lot of wordsmithing on these and came up with this pretty much in order of importance to Shaumbra. What were the top items on this? So we're going to go through those now. And talk about them. The rights of a master, or whatever you want to call them, who's actually an interesting study, looking at all these and feeling into the energies and what's really going on with Shaumbra. And I was taken by somewhat of a surprise at what became the most important right for Shaumbra, and that's the cue.
I am safe, always with my natural protection.
Good. Yeah, Calder's telling me that he's going to run them. I am safe. Now, that was pervasive throughout all the answers, hundreds and hundreds of answers, and sent in, and not to include the other ones, but Shaumbra, they realize they have a right to feel safe. They have a right to feel safe with their own natural protection. Now, when we started this shout, I said, what's going on in the world? The world feels unsafe right now. And we really distill everything down. They just feel unsafe. Here you're saying you have the right to feel safe, and it's very true. You have a natural protection. It doesn't matter what else is happening in the world right now. It doesn't matter if there is a huge recession or depression. You are safe. Could you feel that, please? And understand that if there is a war, you are safe. If there is natural catastrophe and great environmental imbalances, which there are right now, you are safe. Can you feel that and accept that right? I mean, it is your right. And don't say, well, how? Just accept that it is your right to be safe. Can you feel into that and allow that? That was the number one Shaumbra. Years ago, it was money. They were said the right to abundance, the right to be rich, and all the rest of that. How things have shifted right now. I have the right to be safe in an unsafe world. And without feeling the need, you have to go out and rescue everybody else who's not safe or who might not be safe. You can't do that. You have to stay in your safety. They rely on that. It's like the drowning person syndrome. One drowning person isn't going to help another drowning person. Stay above the water. Stay safe. So can you feel that and truly embody that? I have that right to be safe. That is going to be so crucial in going forward. Okay. Next one on the list.
I am an open expression without need to explain or limit.
This came as a result of people saying, I'm tired of people not understanding me. I'm tired of not being able to be who I am. I'm tired of not being able to speak my truth. I'm tired of being analyzed, criticized, ostracized, and everything else through this. And I distilled this, made it a little bit easier to put into 10 words or less. I am an open expression. I am an open expression. I have that right without the need to explain it or limit it. That first surfaced at one of our gatherings in Kona earlier this year, I believe it was. And to my surprise also, the biggest issue with that group, the biggest thing that they were frustrated about is they were not being seen. They were not being seen. They felt like they had to stay so small and without expression or constantly try to explain themselves. That time is done now. That time is long gone. You have the right to your full expression. Now, one could argue and say, well, does that mean you can yell fire in a movie theater? Please, we're beyond that. Let's not get into those philosophical arguments. You're not going to do that. You have the right to be who you are. And that's the light shining. That's being able to now, so many of you have had problems with articulating, putting things into words, speaking. And you can feel it on the inside, and it starts to come out, try to come out in words, and you stumble and fumble because it was suppressed for so long. You have the right and the ability to speak, and the words just flow out. When you stop going just from the brain and you learn to let the energy speak for itself. The energy speaks for itself. You don't have to think through it. The words just flow, and you just flow. And you don't have to explain to anybody. You know why? Well, because first of all, you don't have to. You don't owe it to them. And secondly, they're just going to get it. When you are in your true expression, they get it, no matter what words are said. It's happening on many different levels. So that is your right now. Open expression. Verbally, energetically, artistically, anywhere you want. And I'm not, some of you, I'm getting these challenges. Does that mean you go out and start talking about, politics? And no, it's not about that. You're beyond that now, I hope. And the few of you that are still stuck in that of conspiracy and politics, please leave. I mean, we've got better things to do here. You're no longer having to, get up on a soapbox and talk about which political party is right or wrong or anything like that. Causes are no longer yours. There's something much more conscious for you to do on the planet. So feel into that moment, I am an open expression without having to justify it. Next on the list.
I am free without karma, guilt, or shame.
There are a lot of input and said in many different ways, but people, Chamber, were saying, I'm tired of having karma. I'm tired of having the guilt and the shame. Many who have gone through Threshold in particular saying, I finally am getting it, how I had so much guilt and shame, now I'm done with it. So I kind of distilled everything into this simple, you have the right to be free. And that includes karma. You don't have any karma unless you want karma. Karma doesn't exist. I mean, it's an illusion until you decide you want to bring it into your life. Guilt and shame, on the other hand, are pretty real because you generate it. You got a little machine inside you that makes guilt and shame every day, and it just churns it out. And but sooner or later you say, I'm going to unplug that machine because I'm really tired of it. You have the right to be free. There is something that's kind of stuck in human psychology. I have to feel guilty about something, otherwise I'm going to do bad things. No, that's so yesterday. That's so old. You don't need guilt and shame to be kind of guideposts or hallways leading you in your life. Guilt and shame is just a bad one-way street. You don't need guilt and shame to hold you in place, to make, somewhere along the line, you got this thing that I was a bad person. One of the shameful things about the New Age is, man, they love this guilt. Past lives, you murdered all these people, and oof, it wasn't you. It was your frickin' past life, you know? And they have to deal with it. And they are dealing with it right now on many levels. It's not yours. And you don't need to carry that anymore. And you can let it go just in an instant. But then the guilt and shame come back. Well, I have to carry a little bit of it, you know. Am I partly responsible for that? No. An end to karma. An end to guilt and shame. Just imagine it for a moment. Just like really use your imagination. What would it be like on a typical day if you had no guilt, shame, or karma? Whoa, that is freedom. So that was a big one. And you have a right to it. You don't have to attain it. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to work hard for it. You don't have to suffer it. Instantly right now, that is your right. I am free of guilt, shame, and karma. Okay.
I am beauty and sensuality.
Yes, you are. This was kind of a recurring theme throughout all the input that came through. Shambhara was saying, I finally want to have beauty in my life. I want to see beauty. I want to be sensual. I'm tired of just looking at a tree and thinking it's a tree. I want to see the beauty inherent in everything, and that is your right. The mind is programmed into seeing things in a very linear, literal way, and oftentimes the beauty of life, the sensuality, is stripped away by many, many things. But I would say it's one of your most beautiful senses, the sense of beauty. It is a sense. And sensuality, living a sensual life, a delicious life, where everything you eat is sensual, everything you feast your eyes upon is sensual, everything, music and everything else. And if it's not sensual, if it's inherently not sensual and you cannot connect with the sensual energies, throw it out of your life. Because there are things that kind of, the energy, the way it's built in is kind of unsensual, but throw it out of your life. It's time to be the beauty within yourself and in everything around you. Imagine now, going forward, that you see beauty in all things. And not meant as just a little cliche, but I mean truly feel the beauty in things. That's the way life should be. Without it, there's not going to be any happiness. There's going to be depression. There's going to be anxiety. Once you start letting the natural beauty of everything come through and let yourself perceive it, you can't be depressed and you cannot be bored. You could sit on a park bench 8 hours a day and do nothing but feel, sense, and experience the beauty. And somebody would say, well, isn't that boring, just sitting there all day? And it's like, no, boring is what you're doing, not leading a sensual life. That's boring. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
You're going to say this.
Did you want to say it?
No, you say it.
You say it all the time.
I know, but so you should say
Okay,
it. Practice, you know.
Okay. I am that I am. Not mass consciousness, nor my ancestors, past lives, angelic families, or projections of others.
And none of that. And again, it's commonly believed that, well, you're partly your family and angelic families. We got rid of angelic families, a couple of years ago. That was a good thing. You're none of those. Now, it leaves a sense of void, perhaps, for a short time, because you associated with those things. They were part of you. And in a way, they're still part of your story, but you're no longer indebted to them. None of those. You're a free being. I am that I am. Not what my family is. Not what my past lives were. You're not your past lives at all. Like I've said before, they're like cousins of the soul or something, but it's not you. And even more importantly, they're looking to you to get out of that, even your soul family, old lineage. They're looking for you to rise above that, saying, I'm not just another lifetime in a string of lifetimes of my soul. You are the ascended, the designated ascendee. You are the one that breaks free of even the soul's patterns of past lives. It's huge. It's huge. I am that I am. not that they are, not that my biological family is, not that mass consciousness, not the projections that other people put upon me. I am that I am. I'll decide who I am. Going through your input on these, this what we call the Bill of Rights or Master's Rights, was phenomenal. Feeling in deep into all these answers, it was quite an experience that I've had. Next one.
I am aware of my soul senses as well as my human senses.
Good. You know your human senses probably all too well. I'm using the word soul senses now rather than angelic senses. We're kind of getting away from the angelic family stuff. They're your soul senses, and there's over 200,000 of them. You won't need a lot of them, but it's time now. You have a right to those senses. We've talked about a number of them. Beauty is one. The ability to focus is one. There's a number of them. We'll be dropping more here and there. No, dropping as in name dropping. Yeah. I'm trying to be hip here and use kind of hip terminology. You're still... Kasumi was giving me crap lately, and he said I'm a little behind the times, and I need to talk and dress more current, and I need to listen to any music other than classical. So I'm trying. So please bear with me. Yeah. What's up, man?
Oh, that's the right track.
I may need some more coaching on that, but of course he's the one that helped to give me my name, Adamus.
Of course, we know what it means.
Yes, we do. So he's getting warmed up for the Dream of the Merlin event.
Of course.
So you've got these beautiful senses. Let's bring them in. And how do you do that? You just allow it. We'll talk about it. I'll give some explanation of what these other senses are, but we're going to start weaving them right in. And it makes life so much more rewarding and fulfilling and fun and exciting and magical. You got your human senses, great, but let's integrate some of these others to make life experience for the remaining time you have here on the planet that much more special. So you have the right to your soul senses. I don't care what the mind says, where are they and how do I use them? Shut up. We're just going to bring them in. We're going to be doing a lot of shut ups and fuck yous coming up just to set the parameters, okay? Or shut the fucks up. Yeah. You know, if I say just shut up, that's kind of like, okay, one thing, but if it's shut the fuck up, that's really important. Okay, make note of that. That's really important. Okay, what next?
That's how I know Jeff's channeling.
Next on the list?
I am joy in every cell in my body and thought in my mind.
Yeah. So there was a lot of input about the light body, for instance. There's a lot of, I want my light body now, and I want joy, and they kind of seem to almost blend together. The body is challenging. You don't need me to tell you that. The body hurts and is in pain. You're going through this transformation. It's time, though, to say, let's be in joy with every atom, every cell in the body. Let's be in joy in the thoughts in the mind. Now, I'm not talking about artificial optimism. I'm talking about true joy. And combined with some of the other things we have up here, the ability to just let yourself be in joy. And joy, happiness, sensuality, the flow. I guess perhaps that's maybe even a better word than joy. I am my flow of energy, my flow of ease and grace without all this resistance and friction along the way. And this is your right. Have it in your body and your mind and in everything you do. Okay.
I am relaxed at long last.
Now, that was interesting also. There was a lot of that. Unexpected, but it wasn't said in such a way. It was, I need to finally relax. And I'm so tired of being stressed. The anxiety is overwhelming. You have a right to be relaxed at long last. Why? Let's go back to the first one, because you are safe. When you're safe, you can relax. The rest of the world's not safe. They're not relaxed. They're in anxiety. Tensions are mounting, building up. Who knows where things are going to go? Well, I do, but I am relaxed. Just feel into that for a moment. I am relaxed at long last. There's a lot of tension in your relaxation. No, I mean, really feel into it. It's your right. It's your right to be relaxed, to be at ease. Now, accept that right. I am relaxed. You're not very relaxed. It's like there's still a lot of tension. Okay, so on your own time, come back to I am safe. It's not a mental construct. It's nothing that you have to diagram out. It is a right. You don't have to think through it. It's a right. I am safe. Then after you really feel that, now go, I am relaxed. You can relax because you're safe. That's simple. It's a right. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to work hard for it. It is your right. Okay, what else do we have on the list?
I am in physical harmony with my physical and light body.
Again, a lot of physical coming through here. I do understand, and the physical is perhaps one of the most challenging things to get through right now. And I do have to say there's going to be discomfort going through this whole transition into light body. I'll tell you right now, the easier way to do it, if you want the easy way, die. No, and then you come back. Then you come back in a fresh, little baby, and you go, oh, geez, when I was born again, I brought in my light body right with me, in the birth canal. If you're going to stay here like this, it's tough on the body. You do a lot of breathing, and you keep remembering you have the right to safety. So you have the right to a physical harmony with your biology. Your biology is hyperactive right now in its communications. You've got the aniatron, which is starting to go away, but that's actually stimulating communications between all the particles and the cells and the non-physical parts of your physical body. It's hyper-communicative, which is one reason you have trouble sleeping at night. And then you say, I can't sleep because my body's aching in pain. It's because your body is talking a lot. Now it's time for you to realize you have a right to physical harmony. Fuck you, body. Physical harmony. I don't care what you say. I'm tired of this hurting. I'm tired of this playing this long, drawn-out game. Light body time. Now, physical harmony. Accept that right. It's phenomenal, but I don't know if there's any machines that could actually test it right now, but once you accept that right, it does start changing. All the communications that are kind of going on, and it's kind of like parts of your body, like what's going on, what's happening, well, there's light body coming in, and what am I supposed to do? Am I getting older, and am I going to get COVID, am I going to get monkeypox, or whatever it happens to be? Shut the fuck up. I have a right to physical harmony. Shut up. Make this transition. Light body, stop standing off to the side. Kick my physical body in the ass, but not too hard. Let's integrate right now. You have that right. Right on. Thank you. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. The biology is really a tough thing, and just when you think you're having a good day and suddenly you're sick or you're hurting or whatever, and it takes away from all that. So I'm going to ask you to be strong and bold and a leader of your own physicality. It is your body. It's not your ancestors anymore. It is yours. Take the leadership role and take that right. Don't just look at it. Don't just lick it. Take that right and bring it inside. It's yours. Okay, next.
Does the F word translate into like the 30 languages that this is being translated to?
Oh, sure. Everybody knows fuck.
Everybody.
Yeah. A couple of words that are common I found around the world. Okay. Everybody uses okay, in most cultures. Okay. Are you okay with that? Yeah. And then shit is another one. I mean, there's nothing bad. It's just 4 letters put together, shit, but people understand that. And then fuck. Fuck is probably, some of you are cringing. It's like, so what? Master, you know, you have the right to say fuck. That should be up there on those slides. Yeah. I don't care. Other people might cringe. It's like, well, go fuck yourself then, you know? It's like, fuck me, you know? I'm a master, and I don't have to be embarrassed. I don't have to hold back because your little human ears don't like the word fuck. Fuck you, you know? Jeez, what the fuck? So we should incorporate that into this, don't you think? Maybe we could take a fuck vote. Do we put it in Bill of Rights or not? Keep it in fuck, yeah. All right. Next one, really important one, super important one.
I am beyond death, as the human condition once knew it.
You're beyond death. I'd go as far as to say you already died. In the true energetic way of the physical human condition, you've already died. You've already gone through that. So much of human life is set up regarding death. You slowly move your way to death, and there's fear in it. There's uncertainty, and there's doubt, and people don't understand death, and they come up with these weird things about what happens with death or nothing happens. You're beyond death. And that's so important in understanding, particularly all of you who wrote in and said, I don't want to die in an undignified way. Amen. You're right. You don't have to. You have the right to leave whenever you want. And you do have the right to leave how you want. You really do, if you accept that right. If you just look at it on the wall and say, well, that sounds good. I'm talking about accepting that. You have the right to die. Death is very, very easy. Death is death is actually so much fun that you want to go back and do it again. It's like the roller coaster. Oh, fuck. And then you get off and it's like, oh, that was cool. I'm going to do that again. Death is kind of like that. It's like, oh, Grim Reaper, oh. And then you go through it and suddenly you're on the other side and you're like, wow. Look at me now. Adamus, you're here greeting me. Some of my Shambra friends are here. Wow, that was fun. And then you realize, then you have to laugh at yourself because you realize all that worry for 80, 90 years of your life was all unfounded. It was really easy. So one of your rights is to die how you want. Dignified, if you want. You do the long, slow, if you want. You can just walk out. I'll talk about that in just a moment. So you are beyond death. Can you accept that right? Yes. Okay. Die with dignity. Die with humor. Die going out in a flame. Die telling jokes or eating a big meal. Okay. Ooh, that look. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Okay. And finally,
I own my secret garden in the deep sanctuary of my soul.
Nobody actually stated it like this, but they said, I have a right to my own place where nobody can come and interfere. I have a right to my soul, my sovereignty, where the energies of mass consciousness are not going to come in. I have a right to this private place where I can go and rejuvenate myself anytime I want. That is your right. And everybody has it. We talk about it in different terms. In Kihak, particularly, we talked about the Devir. It's the pure state of energy. But it even goes beyond that. It's not a hiding place. And some of you have mistaken that in the past. It's not a hiding place. It's not a secret cave, an underground cave. It's your secret garden. It's where you can go whenever you want. Nobody else can interfere. Nobody else can enter. Even if you invited them in, they can't. It's your place. It's your refuge with your soul. And in the secret garden, it can be a garden or a forest. It can be a river. It can be sky. It can be nothing. But it's your place. That's only for you. You can stay there as long as you want to rejuvenate, to rebalance, to really connect with your soul. Nobody can ever take it away, and you'll realize it's always been there. You just lost your way, forgot that it was there, and thought that this was some big communal garden that we shared with everybody. It's not. It's your garden. Let's take a deep breath with that. This is your right. I believe that's about all we had. One more. Oh, good.
I am a master, and I define that reality.
You bet. That's kind of a good summary. I am a master. You're not trying to attain masterhood or mastership anymore. We're beyond that. You either are a master or you're not. If you're not, it's time to leave. If you are, let's go forward with the very reason, the passion for being here on the planet. Some of you think you have to continually keep trying to earn this, or you're looking around in your reality to say, but I need the validation that I am a master. I need other people to ooh and ah. I need to perform magic tricks. You're never going to get that, ever, until you decide you're a master. You're not going to get the outside validation until on the inside you've accepted your right as a master. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And then you realize, as the master, you define your reality. Nobody else does. You're aware of other realities all around, but you say, I am the master. I define the reality. Not mass consciousness, not your old families or anything like that, but I define my reality. At that point, you realize what's important, and it's not money, and it's not relationships, it's not being sexy, or it's not being having all these titles behind your name, your diplomas. You realize that was all an interesting experience, but you start to realize what is important. And there's not many things that actually are. But the funny thing is, when you realize that and you accept I am the master, everything else just works out. You don't even have to think about abundance or health or relationships or any of that. It's just there. When you're in mastery, it is just there. Why? Because your energy already knows. It's just now for you to realize that. Your energy already knows how to bring forth abundance and wisdom and peace and joy and a balanced biology. It already knows, and it's just waiting there to serve you. Feel into your right. I am a master. Don't keep testing on the outside to say, but I need to see something external. I need people to be super impressed with me, or I need to have suddenly be able to walk on water. That will never happen, because all it means is you don't believe it. You're looking outside yourself for validation, and it will never happen. You're going to be on a long, long, long search. The minute you accept your right as a master, your energy, your reality, then the magic occurs. And then it's not important anymore. It's all just there. So there was many, 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 many wonderful responses. I was very impressed with what we got. Wouldn't have been this way 3 or 4 years ago. So Linda, I asked Calder to put a few others together just so you could hear. They didn't get included in the short list, but worthy of mention.
Okay. You want me to read
First
them all?
one.
First one?
You don't mind if I eat, do you? This is quite good.
I'm fucking intoxicated.
Okay. What do we have here? Some of the other that didn't make the list. I love this first one.
I have the right to be the author of my life.
I love the poetic way that's put. I'm the author of my life. Nobody else is going to write the script. I am the author.
Did you write that?
No, I didn't.
I have the right not to feel responsible for others' experiences.
Yeah. No, that's so important. You're not responsible. If they're having a miserable life, so be it. Can you be a master enough to accept that they're choosing it? Now, when they come to you and they ask for your guidance, for your light or whatever, now is the time to act. But, just with the average person, family members, friends, miserable life, have compassion. They're choosing it. That's so important, not to take on the world's problems.
The right to be a pirate.
Had to include that one, you know. Good. I think we've proven that today on some of the other slides. Next.
The right to communicate and dialogue with animals and plants, just like when I talk to a person.
So the right to dialogue with animals and plants, I wish there'd have been a period right there, but they continued and said, what was the rest of it?
Just like when I talk to a person.
Just like when I talk to a person. No. No, if you're going to communicate with plants and animals, you don't use English or German or Russian or any of those. You don't use those. You do it energetically. You have a natural sense of communication. Maybe as we expand the list a little bit, you have the right to communicate non-verbally and to understand it. You don't talk to your dog with words. The dog's saying, what the fuck are they talking about? You talk energetically. Now, you're going to hear your mind putting it to words, which is okay, but you're not putting it into words first. So you're connecting with your dog. You're connecting with Belle, and you're feeling this. Not putting it into words is kind of difficult, but it's just this sense of love and what else?
It's the energy. They feel the energy.
You don't have to put it into words. Now, you might hear your mind going, okay, we need to translate that into love and acceptance, and I miss you, but that's not what you're conveying. You don't talk to other non-human things in human terms. You feel into it psychically, and it's okay. Your mind will attach a word. It's okay, but the first order is to do it energetically. And so when we're communicating right here, like this, with Joanne, I don't have to use words. Words are a distraction right now, but I'm communicating something very beautiful to you. And it doesn't need words. And you don't need words to understand it. It's there. Okay, so I wanted that one to just make sure you understand. You don't stop using language. There is a higher type of communication. Good.
The right to never incarnate anywhere ever again.
Yeah. Read it with the expression in the way it was actually first written.
The right to never incarnate anywhere ever again.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think it speaks for itself. And you don't have to, by the way. You don't have
It
to.
has a lot of exclamation points.
It did, yeah. But I thought that was very fitting for Shambhala. I am never going to incarnate again. There is an alternative, though. We're going to talk about it in alt. Okay, next.
The right to ignore any advice given by any grand ascended masters and choose my own experience instead. Oh, we're back on that.
No, that's what was being given to me. That's what I sense beyond the words. What was this person really trying to convey? Good. And finally,
Befitting of today, I'm reading it exactly as it's posted, the right to be an arrogant and a motherfucker.
I don't think you read that right.
The right to be arrogant and a motherfucker.
Yeah, the right to be arrogant and a motherfucker. Okay, all right.
Let's read it again to make sure we got it right.
And you just want to say that word again, don't you? Okay. All right. Let's take a moment to really feel into the true master's rights. Every one of these is your right, and there's a lot more of them, and we can make a really long list. I wanted to kind of distill it, though. These are your rights. You don't have to earn it. It's not elusive. It's not somewhere else. Every one of these is right here. And let's just start right now with safe. You have the right to be safe. You understand that? I mean, physically safe, emotionally safe, financially safe. You have the right to be safe even in a world filled with crime and darkness. You can choose that right, or you can debate the right, or you can say, well, I'll just take a little bit of it. But you do have the right to be totally safe. And it's not that a bunch of angels are hovering around protecting you. It's your own soul, your own energy that's doing it. You can be in the middle of a storm, in the middle of chaos, which the planet is going through right now, You have the right to be safe. Will you accept that right? Okay, let's take a good deep breath. We're going to shift. We're going to do a hard shift of energies and go into our mirab now with the lights down and start with a little music. Let's take a couple good deep breaths, though, as we go into the mirab. And I'm going to start it as a story. And let me know when you ready back there. Take a good deep breath. Interesting thing is we've gone through a lot today, a lot of words, bad words too. But feel into a moment for the energies. You have that right to feel things, the communications on many different levels. This story is a very true story. It's about a Shambra, a true master, a true master. She was like so many of you. Came to the planet quite a while ago. And early in life, wondered why she had come to the biological family that she'd come to. Never felt quite right with it. Never felt like she was really a member of the family. It wasn't bad family. It wasn't, there's some abuse, but it wasn't anything extraordinary. But she just never felt like she was one of them. At a very early age, I remember seeing her sitting on the grass in front of the house, daydreaming, saying, someday I'm going to escape from this place. Not meaning just her family in the house, but the place meaning kind of like a energy, a reality. Someday I'm going to escape from this place. Someday I'm going to go see the world. Someday I'm going to be able to follow my heart. I remember watching her on that day. So determined, so beautiful. She wasn't a great student at all. Didn't care that much for school. And it was interesting because while she was so good with people, she didn't have a lot of friends, didn't want a lot of friends. I found it was important to take plenty of time to herself. She was attractive, and the boys kind of chased after her, but you know, she had some built-in thing, this kind of, I guess you call it a safety net, not to get too involved in relationships, because she knew ultimately where she was going. There wasn't room for that. Unfortunately, I guess, but there just wasn't room. She left home at a relatively early age, shortly after high school, and went to college, studied psychology, healthcare. And never really that into the study. She just wanted to get out there and get her hands in it, do the work, not just study it. And she eventually got through all the schooling and went out into the job world and was very disappointed at her dreams and her goals, her aspirations for helping other people were being crushed by the system, by bureaucracy, by people's egos and all the things that, you know, happen once you get into the real world, as they call it, which really isn't the real world. And she got married along the way, but the relationship was okay, but just okay. And she never really put herself totally into it. She kind of felt bad about that, but she couldn't help it. She just couldn't totally immerse into it. She couldn't let her own soul go that deep. into another person. She loved to travel. She could not stay in one place at one time for anything. She found herself driving around. Her car was probably the most important thing to her of anything, whatever car she happened to have, her car, because that was her freedom. She'd hop in that car and just drive, meet people along the way. She'd take jobs, well, for a period of time, never too long. She'd take jobs as a caregiver. She was an excellent teacher also, but she could never stick with it for a long period of time. She found Crimson Circle 15 plus years ago. I'm not getting emotional, she is. She found Crimson Circle, and she knew she was home. These were her people. The ones that mattered more to her in life than anybody else, any other she'd ever met. She was home. She found herself traveling to the different meetings and workshops. She became a Crimson Circle teacher and then a mentor teacher. It was difficult for her, especially when COVID hit and she had to kind of reduce her travels and reduce being here with Shambra. And then the last year or so, well, let me back up a little bit more. 2020, she became realized. She realized she was realized. She wasn't resisting it anymore. She wasn't dealing with it theoretically. She said to herself one day, in the car, of course, I am realized. And it became so. And it was like so much from her was released at that point. So much of the worry and the doubt and the unsafety and the what ifs, and suddenly it's I am realized. And you know, the big lightning bolt didn't come down from heaven and angels didn't dance around her car. She spent that night actually at a campground, building a campfire, nobody else around, just gazing into the fire, realizing what it really means to be realized. It's so subtle and so beautiful. And about a year ago, she said, you know, I'm leaving. I'm going. But I'm going to do it my way. And it's difficult because she struggled. She said, you know, maybe I should stay on the planet. Maybe Adamus, you know, wants me here to shine my light and all the rest of that. But in the end, she said, no, I am choosing what I want. I'm choosing even how I die. She spent the better part of the last year driving around, visiting friends, visiting places that she loved dearly, closing things up, wrapping things up. No drama, none whatsoever. No anger. No, she'd long let go of all that. No sadness. And then one day she went out to the campground by herself. One day recently went to the campground by herself. Sat and just looked at the water, petted her car, talked to her car, thought about her lifetime and about her realization. And then just started walking towards the water, towards the lake, or the ocean rather. Started walking towards it. First she could feel the cold upon her feet from the water, that stimulation that you get when it first hits your feet, the awareness, ooh, that's water and it's chilly. And she got into about her knees and realized, yeah, it was really pretty cold. Maybe I should have picked a better way to go, but no, this is how I planned it. And by the time she got up to her waist, she was already gone. She crossed over. Her physical body, I guess, continued walking into the water. She hadn't really thought about taking the body with her one way or the other, but it just kept on going out into the water, but she left. She spent a number of weeks just hanging around the planet in non-physical form, of course, visiting some of you. And just feeling from the other side what this is all about. No remorse, of course, no remorse. And then, not so long ago, I guess about a week or so ago in your Earth time, she said, okay, time to walk on. And when she did, she found herself immediately at the Ascended Masters Club. And we're talking about the one that many of you know, Patty Severance. Patty Severance. Patty's with us today. She's crying. She is so filled with tears. Tears of love and joy for you, for her family, for the ones she knew personally, and even the ones she didn't know, had never met, but just the energy of her family. She is an Ascended Master. Of course, right away, there was quite a celebration with Sart and Kadarka and some of the others who have crossed over, and the joy of seeing them. Now it brings up a big question. Big question. She left. It wasn't painful. It wasn't difficult. She left. And she'll agree with me when I say it's the easiest thing you ever do. And I call her a true master because she knew it was over for her. And again, there wasn't there wasn't any drugs involved. She just walked out of her body. And it wasn't because of some medical issue or anything. It was just time. And it brings up a very important thing. She's a true master because she followed her heart and what she wanted to do. But here you are, still on the planet. It brings up a big question. Why? You don't have to be here. By the way, I want to be very, very clear. This was not suicide. Suicide is when one takes their physical body, the life of their physical body, and therefore their brain. When you just walk out, it's not suicide. You're not destroying your body or your brain. You are choosing consciously to leave. So it brings up such an issue about staying, about going forth. Now, she just didn't have the energy. She said, I've been here, 70 plus years on the planet. I'm tired, I'm done, and I'm happy. And it's fine if the rest of you stay, but now's my time to leave. So she's here today with us, first of all, to send her love and her greetings, but to ask you a very pointed question. Looking into your heart, do you want to stay? She didn't. Looking into your heart, and she's saying now there's no fence sitting on this. There's no, well, maybe not. Do you want to stay? And if you do, it's time to claim your rights as a master. You can't do it without it. It's going to hurt too much. You can't maybe your way into this. If you want to stay, claim your rights. If you don't want to stay, you can walk out. Your spirit really leaves your physical body before it's physically dead. You're gone. It's just kind of on robo mode at that point. It could be days, but it's dead. And she asked that very profound question today. What would you like to do? She has no remorse or guilt or any of that. You can't when you're an ascended master about not sticking it out on the planet. None whatsoever. But she wants to make it very, very clear, you to make it clear within yourself. Do you choose to stay? And therefore, do you choose to have your energy serve you? Or do you want to leave? There's no in between. Her words, not mine. Let's take a good deep breath. Dear Patty, oh, many of you knew her personally. She was here many times, came to the gatherings many times. She's now an ascended master. How about that? How about that? Yeah, it deserves an applause. And she's saying right now, in answering Crowder's earlier question, yes, there really is an Ascended Masters Club. There really is, and it's fascinating, fabulous. So let's take a good deep breath right now into this whole question. Issue, staying, not staying. We talked about it before, but if you choose to stay, it's time to claim your rights. You're going to need them. And hell, they're your rights anyway. So accept them. If you choose to leave, don't, her words now coming through, if you choose to leave, don't dilly-dally around with it. Don't play it like a game for 5 years. Am I going to leave or not going to leave? Because you're going to get involved in your own soap opera. What you want to do is just make a decision and then just do it. Her words. Let's take a good deep breath here. Now, she's wanting to know if we're going to be bringing her up for a channel at some point at maybe the next Merlin event or the one after that. You just got to be an Ascended Master. Just chill out a little bit. So, it's such a wonderful time, such a changing time that we have right now. If you're going to stay, claim your rights. Let's take a good deep breath with that as we bring the Art of Benching series to an end, getting ready for Alt. Good deep breath and remembering all the time that all is well in all of creation. With that, thank you. I am Adamus of Sovereign Domain. Thank you.
Thank you to Adamus. Truly an amazing shout, closing out this incredible benching season to pull us on to Alt and left with big decisions for ourselves. So with that, can you breathe into that and feel what it means for you? Very personal, very strong. Breathe it in. It's only for you. Breathe it in and let it be for you. So with that, thank you so much for being a part of this shout. No matter where you were, we can feel those blips of light all over the globe. Thank you for being with us as we close out this shout. Thank you.